Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. So with Hanzo having his scatter arrow taken away from him in the place of some other stuff, I figured now would be a really cool time to do a video talking about some other abilities in the game. We're going to highlight 5 abilities that may be removed in the future, and there could be a few reasons why. First and foremost, the ability is absolute trash and just doesn't get much use. There's also the heroes that are going to be reworked in the future, so these might be some of the abilities that get changed up for other exciting stuff. And then there's the abilities that are just flat out really strong, maybe too strong, that could be changed in the future if Blizzard deem it appropriate. These aren't really in a relative order. I think the top 2 will go over a little bit more, but up until then it's not in any particular order. But place number 5 is actually 2 heroes because I couldn't decide who deserves to be on this list. Torbjrn's armor pack versus Brigitta's shield bash. Both of these abilities are on this list for very different reasons. Torbjrn's armor packs are kinda fine. They have some good use in the game and it fits the character pretty well and it's a nice feature. However, we know that Torbjrn is getting changes and reworks in the future at a later date. And frankly, a lot of Torbjrn stuff I can't really see being changed. I think he's still going to have a turret. I think he's still going to have a hammer. Maybe they get rid of his right click or left click of his primary fire with his rivet gun. But ultimately, if I felt that something was going to get removed or changed for Torbjrn, it would be the armor pack. Although I don't necessarily really see it happening. But if this hero gets changed, that might be the first port of call. And as I said, shield bash from Brigitta, it is flat out very strong in the game currently. I don't think it's going to get completely removed, but I know a lot of people would want to see that happen. Ultimately, I just upped the cooldown by a couple of seconds. I think that would fix it. A lot of people thinking Brigitta is going to be really strong currently. I kind of understand why. It's very obnoxious to have this ability that could just shut down a lot of channeled abilities that are going through. And not only that, Brigitta's protected while she tries to do it, and it's all on close quarters as well. And when you have it at a short cooldown, you can use it liberally. Let us know out of those 2 which you think should be in that top 5 slot, but also if there's any other abilities that you think should be removed, do let us know in the comments below. In place number 4 is Symetra's everything. Symetra is going to be getting some hefty reworks again in the future, and very similar to Torbjrn, there's a lot of stuff with Symetra that could be changed ultimately. I did say ultimately, I don't know if you'd add another ultimate with Symetra, but we know that Symetra is going to be a defense hero from now on, so it means that the new ability won't be anything to do with healing, which I'm kind of gutted about. I'd like to see a Symetra support, but now it's going to be other things about a kit that gets changed. So really, you could see the sentry turret's been taken away, but I feel that it's more likely going to be the projected barrier that she can put out. It's a cool idea, but rarely do we often find it having a lot of use. So if I guess I was going to take away an ability, for Symetra it would be that projected barrier, which is kind of funny considering that she was given that ability on her first rework. So it'd be kind of funny if in the second rework she had that removed in place of something else. Who knows? In the middle of the pack is Reaper, and we're going to be talking about Shadow Step. Reaper had some pretty significant buffs going his way recently, but we actually went over in another video that they haven't quite done what Blizzard want them to do. His ultimate's really good, his left click is amazingly strong, and Wraithbomb is a good ability, but Shadow Step, its use feels inefficient a lot of the time. Sure, it's good for getting up onto the high ground or going across an alleyway without blowing your cover, but there's just something about the ability that doesn't really fit Reaper's playstyle. It feels slow, it feels clunky. A lot of the time when you teleport somewhere, you can get taken out instantly. And Reaper doesn't really have an ability that can close distances very well. And I just feel like Shadow Step doesn't really suit the character at all. Or at least it should be a little bit more fluid instead of feeling the way that it does. We actually had the idea quite a while ago talking about Reaper, saying that Shadow Step could be like Wraithbomb, but you could use it to get onto high ground, kind of like a wall run. But I feel it needs to be quicker. So if Blizzard are looking to change up this hero a little more to try and make him a little bit more dynamic, I would certainly recommend getting rid of Shadow Step, as it just isn't a good ability, I don't feel. Before we go over the final 2 heroes that could have their abilities removed or reworked in the future, I do want to give a brief mention to HyperX. They're a sponsor of ours. We've been with them for over a year now. It's been really good to have them, and I do want to take this opportunity to actually shout out the new headsets that they're bringing out, the Cloudflight wireless headsets. The ability to be able to walk around my flat while still with my headphones in, listening to streams, listening to music, listening to my teammates arguing in the spawn room whilst I go to the toilet. It's pretty awesome to have. So if you are interested in some wireless headsets, then look no further. There is a link in the description if you do want to check them out. The next 2, probably understandable why they're on this list. We'll start with D.Va and Defense Matrix. You could probably guess who's going to be number 1 at this rate, but both of these heroes keep getting nerfed and they keep coming back in popularity based around this idea that they have very strong abilities. Defense Matrix can shut down a lot of decent plays and also erase a lot of mistakes from your team. And also erase a lot of good plays from the enemy overall. You know, a hog hooking, Widow actually landing a headshot, you could just eat it up completely. And it's more the fact that you have such a strong ability that you can use quite liberally that can have a huge impact there as well. I don't necessarily want to see Defense Matrix nerfed, but I always feel it's going to be a problem for D.Va players in total. And the reason for that is that D.Va's constantly going to get knocked down a peg. She's going to be called basically trash tier, and gradually her pick rate will go up after she's been nerfed. It'll drop obviously when it happens, but it will then start to gradually climb, just like it has with Mercy, who is number 1 on our list, understandably, with the Resurrect. This is a good way to explain it for Mercy, but it also applies to D.Va with the same principle. The graph that I'm showing you here is Mercy's pick rate, and you could probably guess when those nerfs came in at the start of this year. The nerfs that stopped Mercy being able to instantly resurrect targets whilst she was ulting, and also getting a second charge of resurrection as she does so. Well, you can actually see that her pick rate has halved, but since then it's started to gradually climb up again. And this, I feel, is going to happen with D.Va a lot as well. Both these heroes will keep getting nerfed, people will be like, they're not going to be good anymore, but because they have these such strong abilities, they're always going to be picked because you can erase a lot of mistakes and erase a lot of good plays from the enemy. The caveat to this is Blizzard feel that these abilities are part of the character's identity, especially with Mercy. So that just raises the question whether Blizzard will eventually turn around and go, we're going to get rid of Defense Matrix, or we're going to get rid of Resurrect in place for something better, something more engaging, something higher skill than just pressing a button and erasing a lot of stuff that's happening. But as I said, these two abilities are very, very different from the Shadow Step that we talked about, a lot of Symetra's kit, and the abilities of Brigitta and Torbjrn that we started with. But do let us know who you would have on this list. What abilities would you get rid of now that we're not going to be seeing Scatter Arrow anymore? Which other abilities don't really fit the game? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and take care. We'll see you next time.